Hey family, it's your man Mark Black. Hey, so New Year's Eve, goddammit. Family, you should have knew I was gonna do a broadcast today, by the way. If you weren't expecting a New Year's something or another to get you finishing this one off and starting you off on the new one when in a decent fashion. You don't know me very well. But before I get into it, couple of things, right? As usual, if you like what I'm doing today and you want to throw a few extra coins your brother's way, this is the link to do that. Also, if you feel like you want to support me more long term, there's my Patreon too as well. But I'm going to keep all that bullshit to a minimum and just go right into the topic because I'm feeling myself today. First, I want to tell you a little bit of a story. Those of you who watch my work for quite some time know pretty much all my shit, right? And one of the things that's my shit, and one of my issues, is I suffer from insomnia. I don't know if it's an effect of what happened to me when I was a kid, the abuse and stuff like that, getting beat out of bed and so on and so forth. But up to this day, I still have trouble sleeping. So one of the things that I tend to do when I have trouble sleeping is I think. Right? I mean, everybody else is quiet. The whole house is silent. It's quiet outside. There's nobody running around screaming, no horns blaring, so on and so forth, right? So I think. And last night, again, having trouble sleeping, I was also doing some work, which I'll talk about a little bit further into the broadcast, okay? But I was thinking and doing work last night. So I was up to 5 this motherfucking morning before I finally laid my head down to get some sleep. On average, I get about, I say between 4 and on a good night, 6 hours of sleep. Like if I get 6 solid, shit, your man cannot be fucked with after 6 solid hours of sleep, right? And it's been that way my whole life. I've taken medication and things like that. And, it's one of those things where it's just a part of my personality, part of who I am. So while I was up working last night though and thinking, the topic for today's broadcast hit me like a ton of bricks. Embrace the horror. Now, I know what you're thinking. Mark has been going hard in the motherfucking paint last few broadcasts. A lot of heated, a lot of tears sometimes. Being hella emotional. Right? And I'm still going to be because that's who the fuck I am. But I'm actually coming to you in a spirit of joyfulness. But why would I say embrace the horror if what I'm feeling is actually not horror? I'm not horrified, right? I am joyful, happy. Because for many of you, what I'm going to say during this broadcast may instill within you a sense of horror that I request respectfully, demand as your brother that you embrace. And what will this horror be triggered by? What will instill in you this spirit of Before I go into that, there's something I wanted to say about today and tomorrow in particular. Every culture, us, pale people, whatever, every culture has a way of marking the year, right? The sun is the most important thing on this planet to all of us. Right? The sun is literally what gives the planet Earth all of the energy it needs for life to continue to exist. And so one of the first things humans were going to do was mark the movements of the sun. Note when it's highest in the sky, when the days are the longest, and note when it's lowest in the sky, and the days are the shortest, and so on and so forth, right? But every culture has had an opportunity to mark a new cycle, a new solar cycle, a new solar return, a new year. But those new years markings are marked by both celebration, kicking it, getting you some ass, playing with the kids, eating good food, whole 9 yards. But also, for the wise ones, it was a day or a time frame or a period of introspection and planning. Right? So celebrate today. I definitely encourage you to do it. Fuck it. Even if it's some pale ass bastard that set the calendar in place, the Gregorian calendar. Fuck all that. It's New Year's. Nigga, you done struggled this whole motherfucking 364 of the damnedest. Okay? 2018 has not been an easy year for black folk. Not by a long shot. But today, just celebrate being here. Celebrate being alive. But also, take an hour. Fuck, for some of you, take 20 minutes to do a little bit of introspection and planning. So, in line with that information, with that advice, I want to talk about a few things that I think will be helpful, right? A couple of jewels that I think that if you take these with you today and moving forward, that the year to come may be one of the best years of your life. That's not hyperbolic. That's not hyperbolic. Before I continue though, if you are here, remember this is my house. I want to know you here. Pop your name in the chat so I can shout you out, show you some love on this fine New Year's Eve. I already shouted out Miss Denny. Peace to you, sister. Thank you for the support. The first jewel that I want to give to you seems simplistic until most of us try to do it. This one item right here, this one thing, is enough to instill a sense of absolute fear and horror in the hardiest of black souls. The first jewel that I want to give to you today as a free gift is first, learn to see the truth of matters. Learn to see the truth. It's a simple phrase. See the truth. It is a difficult as process for most of us because it involves a lot of things that we don't tend to use on a regular basis. No shade. Facts. We don't tend to use on a regular basis a lot of critical thinking. Now, what is critical thinking? I say that term all the time, but what is critical thinking? Critical thinking is simply this. Critical thinking is the mental processes that allow you to be able to question and get answers. That's all it is, right? Like, it sounds like it's so difficult, but really it isn't. Critical thinking is just simply the mental processes that you have in place that allows you to be able to ask reality questions. Jazz, happy New Year's, soon New Year's, and happy New Year's Eve to you, sister. Thank you for the support, the love, and welcome to this motherfucking broadcast. But critical thinking, right? When you hear that, most of us, I should say most of us, right? Because I'm black. Most of us, when we hear somebody say critical thinking, it's a snooze fest. Fuck you mean I gotta ask questions and shit? Peace, King. Welcome to the broadcast. I love you, brother. Happy early New Year and happy New Year's Eve to you. Right? It's an instant snooze fest, family. Instant snooze fest. You say, hey, maybe we should, look at this with a critical eye. The term critique comes from the same root as critical. Critical, of importance, basic. Right? When you say something's critical, that means it's emergent. It's something that is necessary. It's key. Right? So what is critical thinking? Critical thinking is key, necessary, basic methods of thinking about things. And that's not something that we tend to put a lot of focus on in our community for various reasons. First of all, and look, I'm just going to keep it a buck. It just sounds a little too white, right? Like, nigga, I'm out here struggling. I'm out here working every motherfucking day. You know what I'm saying? I got to get these bills paid. I got to get the bag. I ain't got time for all this motherfucking Dr. Phil critical thinking, remember your spirit bullshit. I get that. Right? And that's another injury that we experience on a daily basis living under whiteism, is we lack those opportunities for true introspection. Mental growth, family, is a lot like gardening, right? When you have growth in a garden, for those of you who are into horticulture, right? You can't just throw seeds into the soil, sprinkle a little water on the shit, wait a few months, and look for a harvest. No. There's a process of things that you have to ensure to do to even be assured of a harvest, let alone a fruitful one. You have to go in there first before you even plant the seed. You have to prepare the soil. My mother is an avid gardener. I'm proud to say I put her on. I encouraged her. She had a piece of land. She has a piece of land. And so I told her, garden. Right? Grow your own shit. So she got into it. She started off simple. She went and got transplants, like she bought plants that were partially grown already and shit and just threw them in some soil. She had a few pots that she bought. My mother now has 3 raised beds built by my brother, may he rest. And she gardens every year. And she's grown some amazing shit. But her work in her garden starts long before she ever plants a single seed. In the season prior, right, in the year prior, after she's harvested all of her stuff, she lays down a bed of mulch. Why? Because over time, that mulch in the winter is going to decompose and add to the friability, right? The looseness of the soil. She also has a compost pile that she's constantly tending to. Putting new stuff on, turning it, keeping the temperatures up, so it breaks down that organic material, and she can then use that to amend her soil, to add nutrients back to the soil, right? So before she ever even plants a single seed, before she ever lays out any rows, that soil needs some love. She's going to go in there and pull out the weeds that might have accumulated over the winter, because them some hardy motherfuckers. That's why they call weeds. She's going to weed it. And she's going to maybe turn it over with a hand trowel, because she's focused on her soil for so long that she barely even needs to use tools to be able to plant, harvest, maintain her beds. By putting that basic shit first before any seed has ever been planted and doing it over years, now it takes no effort at all. She can literally go out there, and my mother's a tiny little thing. My mother maybe weighs a bill fitting, counting the old woman spread, you know what I'm saying? Soaking wet with water in her shoes. He's a tiny little motherfucker. But she can go out there and with her fingers, run her fingers through her soil. even after the coldest, harshest winters. And the shit's fluffy. Like black cotton candy. Because she didn't neglect the basics, the critical things. She didn't neglect that. And like a garden, family, you cannot afford to neglect your basic thinking, your critical thinking. That's right, King. King said, we call it over here preparing the ground for planting. Facts, right? Like, it's a crazy thing to me when I see people, especially when they first discover like the dirt, right? When they first discovered the dirt, especially us black people, because we are children of the earth, right? Why you think you always having to tell your kids, boy, stop playing in the motherfucking mud. Girl, get your ass out that dirt. Because we love that shit. But when we discover the dirt, it never ceases to amaze me how little we actually think about what dirt is. Dirt is literally the sum total in a particular area of all the life and non-life that came in the years before you. I'll repeat that. Whenever you go outside and you step your foot on dirt, you are literally walking on the lives that came before you. The lives of now dead grass, of now dead leaves, of now dead and decomposed animals, of the waste and the refuse of certain bugs and ants, the castings of worms. You are literally walking upon the remainder of all the life in that area that came before you. When you think about it that way, damn, it takes dirt from this nuisance to something that you wish you could hug like a relative. When you think about all the life that you know is sustained from the lives that came before, you won't see going into your garden and preparing that soil and reinforcing that and enriching it with even more life as a chore. You'll see that as a blessing, as an opportunity to add your 2 cents, to literally inject a portion of your time, your life, into the lives of the ones that came before us, to bring forth new life in the future. In your mind, you need critical thinking. You need basic thinking. And what do I mean by that? I told you that critical thinking is a series of processes, right? That allows you to be able to learn to see the truth of matters, right? This basic thinking is how you get to the core of things. So some of the tools that you use to engage your critical thinking, you use logic, right? You look at a situation and you make a guess. That's right, King. We need logical thinking along with critical thinking. Logic is a tool of critical thinking. It's one of the key tools, I would argue. What logic encourages you to do is to make a guess about something, a hypothesis, if you will. And then using deduction, which just is a means of saying, this is fact, this is fact, this is fact, this is fact, and establishing a series of premises. Those series of premises, if they are all based on the closest approximations of reality that you can get to, will likely bear fruit in a conclusion that you can use. A conclusion that is connected as close to reality as you can get. right? Because here's the thing. Learning to see the truth simply just means understanding what the fuck is in front of you. Being aware of reality. That's all it means. It means seeing reality for what it is. And that one thing alone instills the most horrible sense of fear in a lot of us. There's so many behaviors that we express as a people. This isn't shade. I'm not shading us today. But we need to talk about this. There's a lot of behaviors that we as black people express. Because fuck everybody else. I'm just talking about us. That we express that if you were to break those behaviors down, have one root cause. Denial of reality. No bullshit. No bullshit, family. I wish I was making this up. I really wish I was making this up. But I'm not. If you look at a lot of the behaviors that we express, the vast majority of them are rooted in our desire to deny reality. Now, you know I understand why. It's harder than a motherfucker to bear blackness when whiteness is everything. It's hard. The self-medication, you know, right? Shooting up. The self-medication. The projection of our worst fears, ideals, and traits off onto other people. The deflection from topics that tend to trigger us. The absolute unwillingness to be responsible for knowing. And the reason why I say be responsible for knowing is because once you know, you're responsible for what you know. There's a whole host of reality avoidance behaviors that we express as a people. And I argue that without first learning how to embrace the horror, embrace what is, you cannot move forward on anything that you set out to do as an individual, as a member of a family, as a member of a community, and ultimately as a member of the black collective or the black nation. You can't do it. You can't do it. King said, our grandparents always do lots of planting, and what they are saying to us, we came from the ground and we have to go back to the ground for our sustenance by planting food. You know what, King, I remember back in the day, you know, because I grew up in a Christian household, my mother used to quote to me something from the Bible along the lines of, you came from the soil and to the soil you return, right? Like Adama was created from the soil, from the dirt, okay? And when he died, was returned to the soil, right? I think that in a way, that's a real solid metaphor for what horticulture and agriculture really is. We are literally soil people. Everything that we eat either is sustained by something that comes from the soil or it comes from the soil itself. Right? Our grandparents had wisdom. They knew that if they communicated to us to reverence the land, to reverence the soil, which is the basis of life, that we would learn a reverence for life, all life. We would have a reverence for each other's lives. Because truly, my brother King, my sister Jazz, Miss Denny, and everybody else who's watching live in this broadcast right now, we are all made from food. There's no human being that you talk to that is still alive and breathing and moving that isn't made from food. And all food has its basis in the nutrients in the soil, even the food in the oceans. Because the nutrients that come up through the geothermal vents and stuff like that dissipate over the ocean floor and are cycled through using using currents and shit like that, right? All that's soil. It's just sea soil. Our grandparents knew. They always had something growing. How many times y'all done went to over one of our elders' houses, right? And you go into their house. And even if they ain't got a pot to piss in and a window to grow out, to throw it out of, they got something alive in that house. Something growing. I'm not talking about pets, right? I'm not talking about the dog or the cat or wherever the case may be, right? But I'm talking about something growing from the soil. Our elders be knowing these things, man. I can't take credit for anything I'm saying. Right? We came from the soil. We are literally people of the soil. It's reflected in almost everything we have, be, are, and do. So when you look at learning how to see the reality of things, logic is a method of doing that. A focus on rationality. Now let me clarify what the fuck I mean. Rationality is not being a computer. It is not analyzing things like your ass is Spock. But what it means is that you are looking for the ratios, the balance in things, right? Rationality allows you to be able to balance out your thinking, right? Because without rationality, what you have is essentially you as a reactive organism. I'll explain. I prick you with a needle. What do? You jump back. Your arm jumps back. That's a reaction. All right? I lean close to you and then blow a puff of air into your eye. You blink. That's a reaction. Right? I raise my fist like I'm going to sock you and you jump. That's a reaction. Okay? And those reactions are necessary. They help preserve your life. King said, I strongly understand studying in the European system has changed our connection with the earth, aka the ground. You know what? I don't think so, King. Shit, you can't keep black kids out of the dirt. I think if we don't squelch that in them ourselves, they'll love the soil. If I ever have the resources, the bread, I've said this often. If I ever have the bread, I'm going to start a working farm. And I'm going to go to the hoods. And I'm going to have kids and their families come out and be able to work on the farm and put their hands on the animals and put their hands in the soil and walk amongst the trees and all of that. I want to see our people reconnect to the land. Because if you notice, family, I said land is the basis of all life. What else is land the basis for? Land is also the basis for our capital, which is why of all the things whiteism is made sure to deny us en masse, a land base has been first and foremost among it. First and foremost among them. Because they understand one thing. You give any people a piece of land, a connection to the earth, to root themselves, to have a place that they call home, and there is literally nothing you can do to dislodge them. If you gave us, the descendants of slaves, a real foothold here in Fortress America, good luck trying to get us the fuck up out of here. And they know that. They know that. Which is why every time we try to build communities, not neighborhoods, communities, They would rout us out, burn us down, lynch us out, defraud us. We get dirt here as a collective in mass. Whiteism is on its way out. From that day on, all the rest of it is a mop-up. A land base gives us so many options we didn't have before. But I digress. So, first, family, learn to see the truth. Use rationality. Rationality is a tool, just like logic, to help you better understand and perceive the reality of things. Rationality means that you take all of the factors into account, which means you take your emotionality into account, right? You are an emotional being. You take your physicality into account. You are a physical being. Some of you adhere to ideas of spirituality, so you're going to take that into account too, right? And you're going to take all of these things into account, and by using your critical thinking skills and observing what is around you, you're going to take that into account too in your calculations of the balance of rationality. So when using logic and rationality combined with your most basic thought processes, you can better and better and better more easily see the truth, the reality of matters. Why is that important? Because seeing the reality of matters means that when you act, your actions are in accordance to what is real, as best you're able to understand it. We'll go into that in a little bit more detail. The second gem or jewel that I want to give you on this fine New Year's Eve is, before I go into it, I'm going to read King's comment. Typical example. Our little island of Grenada in the 80s was one of the most self-sustaining countries in the Caribbean, and it was all because of going back to the land and growing our own food. Woo! I'm telling you, there's nothing like the dirt. There is nothing like the soil. Nothing like it. The second gem that I want to have you reflect on for this past year, because remember, these jewels are not just moving forward. These are your keys, the tools to introspection, right? Like this year, you need to review how it is that you practice those reality avoidance behaviors. You need to look at yourself to see where this year you tried your best to avoid reality, to avoid seeing the truth of matters, so that you're able to better know how to see the truth of matters moving forward. So remember, these jewels are for introspection, past tense, and planning, future tense. All right? The second gem I want to leave you guys with today, as for me too as well, is question your current life and the lives of those around you, right? To see how closely all of you adhere to reality. This is why it is important that you see the truth of matters. Because it's not just so our avoidance of reality, right, is not just going to affect us individually. We interact with other people. We are social creatures. We fucks with other human beings and other beings on this planet. So you doing something does not happen in isolation, no matter how you try to spin it. But more importantly, the people around you are also affecting you too as well. And you have to ask yourself, family, like I know it sounds a bit harsh or cold or foreign, but you really have to start looking at the people in your life and say, who are you? Who the fuck are you? Not in that sense of combativeness, but just a simple spirit of inquiry, of actually wanting to know who the individuals that you have around you, right? You need to ask using your critical thinking, the questions that will break down your current life. How did you get to where you are? What were the key circumstances that brought you to thinking, being, feeling, doing what you do now? Right? Were the motivations behind those things even real in the first place? Tell you a quick story, right? That kind of illustrates what I'm talking about. This girl was watching her mama prepare a Christmas ham. So her mother took the ham out of the wrapper and all of that stuff. And the first thing she did when she put it in the pan is she cut the bone off of the end of the ham. Now, daughter's curious, right? She's watching mama make the ham. She's like, Mama, why did you cut that bone off of the end of the ham? She said, well, that's how I've learned to cook ham, right? Maybe we should ask your grandma. She's the one who taught me how to cook my hams. So they called grandma. Hey, grandma, Merry Christmas almost, blah, 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 blah. Hey, Mom cut the bone off the end of the ham, and she said you taught her how to cut the bone off the end of the ham. And I'm just curious. Why do you cut the bone off the end of the ham? Grandma said, well, that was the way I learned how to cook ham. But that's a really good question. You know what? Great grandma's still with us. Let's ask her, because she was the one who taught me how to make ham. Conference call, 3-way. Get great Grammy on the phone, the great elder, the maternal ancestor. And they say, Grandma, Mom and Grandma have been cooking hams every holiday forever and ever and ever. And I watched Mom cut the bone off at the end of the ham. And she said that Grandma taught her how to do that. And Grandma says that you taught her how to do that. So Grandma, please explain to me so that I know how best to make ham for my children in the future. Why do you cut the bone off the end of the ham? And the great matriarch says, well, I cut the bone off at the end of the ham because the pan that I used to cook the ham in was too small with the bone on. Right? Like generations of the same behavior, unquestioned, that was started because a pan didn't have enough room to hold the whole ham. Do you realize, family, how many things do we have existing in our heads and actions that we do and things that we think about and say and believe and things that we quote and people we quote and so on and so forth, right? That go completely unquestioned. We never ask, how is it that we arrived at these conclusions? Are they conclusions? Do I have a chain of logical premises that support what it is that I'm doing? Do the people around me have a real logical and rational idea of why they do what they do? King says, as I always advise, Miss Denny said, I know and love this story. I love it too, because it's a beautiful metaphor for the reason why we need to question stuff. Right? King says, as I always advise, many people that the people that they have in their inner circle will determine the person you become. So be very careful of the people you allow to motivate you. Facts. But notice what the brother's saying. He's saying that the responsibility for policing your environment, right, for making sure you have a harmonious inner circle is not on those people. It is on you. The responsibility for making sure that you question a lot of things that your ass hold dear for no reason that you're aware of. You need to question that shit. It drives what you think, how you feel, how you operate, who you interact with, how you interact with them, what you do when you interact with them, and so on. And you don't have a single question as to why? What? What? You know what I'm saying? You're not asking a single fucking question about anything? I don't remember who it was that said this, and I'm paraphrasing them. But one of the worst crimes a human being can commit, in my opinion, is living a life that is completely unexamined. Just stumbling through this motherfucker, going through the motions. Like, nigga, it's hard out here. I get it, but it can't be so hard you can't stop and take a minute to just, damn, why am I here? What am I doing? Why do I think like this? Why did I say that to my kid? Why do I have this interaction with my mate, my woman, my dude? Right? Why is my heart going pitter-patter in these particular circumstances, but not in these? You know, the unexamined life. The motherfucker who just spends his time eating, drinking, smoking, fucking, sleeping, and dying. What the hell were you here for? How could you be here and never once have the desire to understand anything? Like, make this make sense to me. Like, talk black to me, family. How the fuck does this make sense? That you can literally spend your entire life never wondering or questioning about a damn thing except what's right in front of you right now. No past, no future, just an everlasting series of nows. I don't understand that. You need to question your current life to see how closely what you're doing adheres to reality, sticks to reality like glue. When you look at your life and you look at how reality operates, you want a one-to-one correlation as best you're able to get it. There's a lot of things you won't be able to perceive. There's going to be gaps in your knowledge. So sometimes it'll be like this, right? But you want to try as best you can to get that as close to one-to-one as possible. But you're not done. You also want to look at the lives of the people around you, the people that you've allowed to come close to you, the ones that you have let within your perimeter. King says we have to stop allowing society to think for us and use our critical and logical thinking to make decisions that can help us become a better version of ourselves. Take responsibility for your thought pattern. I would agree. The only thing I would say differently is, and I might have to do a different broadcast on this one, because part of embracing the horror is knowing that even with all the fucked upness that you got going on in your life, and trust me, for a lot of us, it's a whole heaping fuck ton of fucked upness, you ain't so bad where you are or who you are. I know that sounds counterintuitive. I'm on some old Oprah remember your spirit type bullshit. No, I'm not. But remember what I said about adhering to reality? The reality is I believe is best expressed, and I believe it was Ecclesiastes in the Bible, where it says, to everything there is a season, right? There's a time for growth and a time for harvest, right? A time to reap, a time to sow, a time to live and a time to die, a time to be awake and a time to sleep, right? A time to eat and a time to go without. Everything in this life has its place. And I think that sometimes when we get caught up in the sheer pain of it, it becomes real easy to forget that. It becomes real easy to forget that even the pain has a place. Peace, Sister Shar. Happy New Year's Eve and happy early New Year. Thank you for your support and welcome to the broadcast. Family, you don't necessarily have to become a better version of yourself. In the sense that, I know what King was hitting at, and he's right? But let me see if I can make it a little easier. I think that we become better versions of ourselves when we become more of ourselves. Now, even bad can be great. Torian, oh my goodness. Hey, Torian, welcome to the broadcast. Happy early New Year's to you, my brother. Love you, man. Family, becoming more yourself is the way to become better. And the reason why this is so salient, so important for us to know, is because nobody, Cats, Happy New Year's, dear beloved sister. Welcome to the broadcast. Thank you for the support. Nobody has learned this lesson, in my opinion, better than I have in the last couple of years. Nobody. That being more of myself is the key to becoming my better self. I'm not going to elaborate on it here because I have a different place where I'll touch on those types of things. So, second jewel, question your life. Ask the hard motherfucking questions, right? Take some time to do some introspection and question. Manasseh, why is what so? Why am I not gonna touch on it? Because I have somewhere else that I can go into that. But question your life and the lives of those people around you to see just how close all of you are aligning with reality. And by the way, Manasseh, Happy New Year, early New Year to you. Welcome to the broadcast. I really do appreciate your support. Yeah, I know, right? Hey, by the way, Torian, just as a side note, because today I told y'all I'm filled with joy. So I'm going to have me some fun on this motherfucking broadcast. Torian, I finally saw Infinity War. And I have to say, damn. I'm not going to lie. I did not expect it to be as good as I found it to be. Real talk. And don't worry, I'm actually going to go into that another time. But I thought I'd throw that out there because I know you've seen it, right? I know you've seen it. That shit was dope. Dope. Miss Denny watched it. She said, holy shit. She had to watch it again because she couldn't believe it. It was dope. No spoilers here. I'm not going to go into it here. But trust me, it's worth watching. The shit was insane. Yes. Oh, definitely, Torian. Matter of fact, now that I saw Infinity War, because I got Netflix, right? Now that I saw Infinity War, you can best fucking believe that when Endgame comes out in April, it's the theater time. It's no question. I'm going to see that shit in the best sound, best quality that money can buy. I'm not playing. Insanely great. Yeah, Manasseh, being more of yourself. Oh, Torian, IMAX, most definitely. Manasseh, being more of yourself, right? And like I said, this lesson is very salient and important to me, but I can't go into it here. Not yet. Not yet. So I know it seems like I'm keeping a bunch of niggas in suspense, but trust me, there's a method to my madness. The mighty Jazz welcoming everybody to the broadcast. That's how she do. Jazz is one of the best moderators, supporters, sisters, allies a brother could have. Jazz, I can't, you know me, I can't say enough good stuff about your sister. My esteemed, beloved sister. Can't say enough good stuff about you. Yeah, I know, Jazz. You always, you know what? I think I do it partly because I'm so grateful and partly just to embarrass your ass. And a hardcore pro-black to boot. All right, so family, Mark Black is handing out jewels today on this fine New Year's Eve. King, as always, my brother, nothing but love to my esteemed elder brother, King. Happy New Year to you, sir. Please make sure you continue to ride with me. Your input is valuable. You are valuable, and I can't express my respect for you enough. So keep your head up. Happy New Year to you, and thank you for joining the broadcast today. Yeah, I'm on some Oprah shit today. You get a jewel, and you get a jewel, and you get a jewel. Everybody gets a jewel, all right? So, the third jewel, freely given. Because remember, we got to embrace the horror, people. I know that looking and seeing the reality of shit is scary as fuck. I get it. Sends little shivers right up your motherfucking spinal column. Wait, what you mean I'm going to have to know how this shit actually operates? Yeah, you are. You're going to have to learn. Because one thing about reality, to the extent that you don't see it, you're going to keep smacking into it until your ass see it. Like, as long as your ass is alive and breathing, reality bites. And it will jump up and bite you in your beautiful black ass until you wake up and go, oh shit, that's reality. You can try to smoke your way out of not seeing it. You can try to fuck your way out of not seeing it. You can try to run around and squirrel around and everything. You do everything you can to try to avoid reality as much as possible. You're just going to keep running into it. You just keep running into that wall until your ass face it. So, the third jewel. And this is important as fuck. So, listen up closely, peoples. Change, if need be, to match the truth as closely as you can. So you've used your critical thinking, your basic thinking skills and abilities with the frameworks of logic, reason, and rationality, right? To gauge, taking an honest inventory of self based upon what? Based upon reality, Manasseh. Look. The only thing that I can give you that will give you a basis, right? You said based upon what, right? Taking an honest inventory of yourself should be based on just one question. But that one question is going to be closely tied to your understanding of reality, which is why I said that we need to focus on learning to see the truth, to see the reality of matters, right? You need to take an honest inventory of yourself based off of this one question. Simple ass question. Does it work? Does it work? I do X, Y, and Z. Does that work? Does that work for me? Does that work for the people I fuck with? Does that work for the collective of people that I'm amongst? The black nation, right? Does that work? That, seriously, Manasseh, I you know what? I wish I could make it any more short bust than that. But that's as simple and as painfully complex as it gets. Taking an honest inventory of yourself from the year previous and moving forward, so for introspection and planning, means that you have to ask everything around this one question. Does it work? Does it work? Man, I've been in this relationship so and so and so and so for this long and so and so. Is that working for you? That's not up to me to answer. That's up to you to answer. Meaning that you really have to have your reality detecting game on point. Because if you answer that question in a flawed fashion, you're going to be butting heads with the reality of situations, with the realities of the people that you fuck with the reality of the world around you. And trust me, in a match, in a boxing match between you and reality, reality wins every time. You can't even compete. Reality is the super heavyweight champion of existence in this motherfucker. You can't win. Does it work? Man, I've been having these feelings about so-and-so and such and such and such and such in this situation. Great. How's that working out for you, those feelings? Man, I believe in blah, 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 and blah, 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 blah. Great. How well is that working out for you? How well is that working out for the people around you? How great is that working out for the black nation, the collective of us, if you care enough? Just saying, right? Because some of us, no matter what, don't think we're a part of black people. We are, but... And it doesn't help that we got a bunch of motherfuckers running around telling people who ain't black and who's black and so on and so forth, right? So I get it. But you need to ask that question, does it work? And if what you're doing, what you are, what you're feeling, what you think, what you believe does not work, then you need to change it. And you need to try to change it as best you're able to match the reality of the situation. Manasseh says, so what does it take to make the change? Believe it or not, Manasseh, that's kind of the easiest part. You fucking do it. A lot of people think that change is something that because it's so hard to do that we need to be incremental about it, right? Like, let's say that you overweight, you obese, right? You obese, big motherfucker, right? Your house is dirty, okay? You ain't got nobody that you can go kick it with, like, you know, your man or your dude if you're a girl, or if you same sex, gender loving or whatever. You know, you don't have a mate. You don't have friends, right? You don't have all these things. You're broke. So on and so forth. So most of us, because of apathy and inertia, because those are real things in a social and mental and emotional sense. We have an emotional inertia, meaning that an emotion that we've tended to be fucking with is one we're going to tend to keep fucking with until acted upon by an outside force. Don't worry, Manasseh. I'm going to get to that. Great question. But put that on the back burner. Put that one on hold, right? Let's table that one. Great fucking question. And I'm going to address it. I promise you. All right? So, we got all these things that we know from our self-review are things that we ain't really that good with. We ain't happy about this shit. We ain't happy about being a fat ass, no pussy getting, you know, lazy ass, sitting around the house, neck bearded the fuck up ass bastard. We ain't happy about that shit. All right? All right. So, because of the inertia that we experience mentally, because the same type of thought processes that you've tended to engage in, you will continue to engage in unless acted upon by an outside source, right? Because isn't that Newton's first law of motion, that an object in motion tends to stay in motion unless acted upon by an outside force? So without friction, without anything, if you throw an object in a given direction, it will head in that direction at the same speed forever and ever and ever. unless something other than itself affects its trajectory and changes its speed, alters its acceleration, so on and so forth. So unless it's acted on by something outside of itself, it will not deviate. There is that effect mentally and emotionally too as well. So how you overcome that is by making all of those changes at once. Not by piecemealing this shit. Not by incremental bits. You don't start this one change and then say, okay, once I've got this one change locked in, I'm going to start another one. And then once I got that change locked in, I'm going to start another one. You know why? Because change from a state of inertia involves contact. Boom. It involves you getting out there and making an effort. It involves you engaging in your life. And I'm sorry, but if you are out of the habit of engaging with your life, then what happens is that shit is like any other muscle. You ain't exercising forever. This shit gets hard to do. So you've made one change, great. Well, what happens when you flag? Because you haven't developed your mental muscles to deal with that one change. You ain't gonna never get around to making the other changes that you know you need to make. That one change just wiped you the fuck out. But if you know that you gotta lift the weights, if you got to move this object, then move the motherfucking object. Lose the weight. Get your ass out and about and be more sociable. Start looking for work or go engage in day labor or something. And do it all today at once. Not piecemeal, right now. Because it's all change. It's all uncomfortable in a sense anyway. So if you're going to be uncomfortable, why not be uncomfortable for a shorter period of time? When you address all of the different things all at once, boom. Once you've addressed them, they're done. And you can be comfortable again. You can be at peace. You can say, woo, that was a motherfucker. That was a hell of a 6 months right there. But look at me. I done dropped 60 pounds. I met a new girlfriend. I've been working now for 4 months. Shaved my neck beard. You feel me? You did it. You did it all at once. And think of it like when you got a cut on your arm, right? And they put on a bandage. Any of you ever had somebody sit there and try to take it off all gingerly and shit? Oh my God. I'm telling you, if you got, like, I'm hairy. Y'all see that. I'm like a bear, all right? You try peeling a motherfucking Band-Aid off of this arm, and you will see a grown man cry. That shit hurts like a motherfucker. It feels like it's ripping out my very soul. Right? But when I take that bandage and I just rip it off, I don't even feel it. And it's done. It's over with. Change is done. See what I'm saying? Manasseh, you make the change by making the change. Let me, your brother, who loves you, who respects you, who values you, be your impetus. Take these jewels that I'm giving you and use them for your benefit. Today, decide to rip the motherfucking Band-Aid off and make the changes you need to make. Don't put it off. Don't procrastinate. Don't piecemeal the shit. Do it now. Now you asked the question, Manasseh, that I said that I was going to address. What if the change affects the ones around you, brother? Because this gets into my last jewel. My last jewel, my New Year's Eve gift to you, my beloved family, is this. Anyone that tries to sway you off of a path that you know matches reality, that is clear in your mind based off of your logic, your rationality, your understanding of the truth around you. You've observed yourself and introspected yourself. You've observed the other motherfuckers around you. You've observed your environment. You've taken in all the data. You've counted for all the variables. You've done all the hard, heavy lifting. And you have a series of logical thought processes, a chain of premises that lead you inevitably to the conclusion of what it is you need to do. Anybody that tries to sway you from that, you smack those motherfuckers down hard, fast, and permanently. Hard, fast, and permanently. And it don't matter who the fuck it is. Because, family, I know this sounds ice cold. You saying I gotta tell my mama to get the fuck out of my life? You might. What are you saying? Brother Black, I'm gonna have to break up with my wife for 30 years? You might. I'm not telling you that you need to change. I'm telling you that once you understand the reality of your life and the lives around you and the environment in which you exist, you've taken in as much data and tried to have a one-to-one correlation in your life, in your actions, in the way you do things with how things actually the fuck are, not what you think they are, not what you want them to be, but what they actually are. And you arrived at a conclusion so glaringly obvious that you can't help but to walk that path, then anybody at that point who is trying to sway you away from that conclusion is a mind killer. They are there not to help you, not to benefit you, but to destroy you. And you smack them motherfuckers down hard, fast, and permanently. If you take nothing else from this broadcast, nothing else I've said, and I hope that you guys take more than just this, but if you take nothing else from this broadcast, take this thing with you. As your brother who has experienced a whole host of different life scenarios and situations and shit, I can tell you for a certainty that my life didn't actually start getting in any way better until I realized that I need what I need, but I don't need your ass to provide it for me. I need what I need. I want what I want. I like what I like. I don't like what I don't like. I'm afraid of what I'm afraid of. All of that is me. But none of that depends on any particular individual or group of individuals to have it or to experience it or to know it or to not experience it and so on and so forth. I'm attached to what and who I am. I'm not attached necessarily to who it is that provides me with what I need and what I want. Manasseh, if it's your man Mark Black who provides you with a tool, a jewel that makes your life better, fucks with him. But the day I don't do that, feel free to cast my ass out on the garbage heap. I'm no good to you at that point no more. There don't have to be no rancor. See, a lot of us don't like this process that I'm describing because it's not dramatic enough, right? I want people to see the changes that I've made. I want people to understand what it is. No. Run silent, run deep, brothers and sisters. Run silent, run deep. Shit, I would argue that if you're doing this right, nobody should even know that this is what you own until you present it to the entire world as a fait accompli, as a done deal. This don't have to be a big, long, drawn-out, dramatic thing. This doesn't have to be filled with a bunch of argument, rancor, drama, disrespect, name-calling, sneak dissing, shade tossing. No. You arrived at a logical conclusion based on all the factors that you were able within your capacity to consider. You've measured whether or not your conclusion aligns as close as you can get it to your understanding of what the reality is. Nobody at that point got shit to say about what the fuck you doing and how you doing it. Nobody. I don't care who it is. Unless it's full-throated, full-bore support, fuck them. Fuck them. I can't make it any more simpler than that. Manasseh, you feeling me, brother? Are you understanding what I'm saying? You asked, what do we do if the change affects the ones around you, brother? The fact is that any change that you make is going to affect the ones around you. And that's exactly what the fuck you want. Because the people that you want to have around you once you've made those changes to align yourself with the reality of matters are the people who do the same fucking thing as you. Think about it, Manasseh. You done the legwork, brother. You done sat up those sleepless nights, man. Heart breaking into 1,000 pieces because those realities are pouring into your fucking mind and you're not turning away from them. You're embracing the horror sometimes, right? You're doing the hard work. You're doing a fucking inventory of your shit and saying, does this work? And so you do all of that heavy lifting, all of that hard work, all of those efforts that it's going to take to make the key changes in your life that makes you more yourself. For what? To be surrounded by the same no good ass motherfuckers who wouldn't even back you when you should have been doing that a long time ago? Really? Those people that you so worried about in your life that had they had a clue that you were on the steps that you were taking, the process you were taking, they would have sabotaged you a long time ago. Why? Because your success means that they have to look at their shit. Remember, we're responsible for what we know. Damn it, Manasseh, look at him, man. This brother's bubbling. You know what I'm saying? He's got a good job now. He's, whatever your situation. Brother, I don't know you like that personally. I'm just using you as an example. So don't take anything I'm saying here personal. All right? It's not personal. But you done the legwork. You done the hard shit. You done got your life together. You done lost the weight. You done met you a nice gal who loves you, who's respectable, who's sweet to you, who cares about you, who's interested in you, right? You done got you a new source of income, some new remuneration, right? Maybe you started doing something you were afraid to do, previously. Maybe you never learned how to swim. And you said, fuck it, I'm going to take some swimming lessons. You learned how to swim. Whatever it was in your life, you were the one who went out there and in concordance with reality itself, the most mightiest force in this universe, you done this shit. And now everybody got shit to say? They got drama they want to bring to you? Oh, Manasseh, I don't even know. I'm saying, right? I know you relate. That's what I'm saying. I was just using you as an example, brother. I feel you, right? But the thing is that now they got something they want to say. You ain't the same nigga you used to be. I don't think I like this thing you doing. Man, what do you mean, be rational? Fuck rational. Them type of motherfuckers? Them's the ones that you want to keep in your life at that point? The ones that you've sat there and watched. Because remember, the second jewel was not just to question your life, but also, with observation, question the lives of the people around you to see how closely they're adhering to reality. Because one thing that nobody will fucking tell you in this process is this: time is the one thing you don't get back. I'm 40, I'll be 46 in January, barring any unforeseen circumstances, you dig? 46. I ain't old, but I'm getting up there. If I wanted to, I could literally spend months going back over my life thinking about shit I could have done different. I could have been I could play the what if game at my age for months, uninterrupted, easily. What if I'd have done this? What if I'd have thought about that? What if I had seen this? So on and so forth. I didn't. I didn't see those things. I didn't understand that. And it cost me. But time is the one thing I don't get back. Can't play the what ifs. My job at this point is to first have a desire for reality. Not to turn away from it. Not to smoke my way out of it. Or fuck my way out of it. Or shop my way out of it. But to really face the reality of my existence as Mark Black, a black man in the United States of America. I have to embrace those facts. I have to know them. I have to actually have a willingness to seek out the truth of my reality. I then also need to ask hard questions about myself and about the people I've surrounded myself with. I've got behaviors that I do. Like, y'all see me, I vape on this electronic cigarette, right? Quit smoking years ago, but I started smoking when I was 17 years old. Do you know why I started smoking cigarettes? Because I was bored. I went to Job Corps at 17 in Clearfield, Utah, right? Your first few days in Job Corps was a lot of paperwork, a lot of bullshit ass meetings. 17 years old and bored as fuck. So when we got breaks, all the smokers would rush out the door. And they were out there chopping it up and having a good time and talking and woo-woo-wooing. And me, I'm sitting there in the classroom bored as fuck. So I go out there and see this white boy pull out a package of Marlboro Reds. And he seemed like he was a nice enough cat. Robert French, I'll never forget him. I said, hey, man, let me have one of those. Sure, man, no problem. Gave me a cigarette. He even gave me a light. I gagged like a motherfucker. That cigarette was nasty as hell. Family, that first cigarette was like, man, what the fuck am I doing? Like, had I paid attention to reality, I wouldn't be a nicotine addict today, because that shit was nasty. Oh, it stank. And when it hit my lungs, it felt like somebody took my lungs and was trying to wring them shits out like a goddamn dish rag, you feel me? It was not good. But after I got past the choking and coughing and shit, I was out there talking to people. And I wasn't a very sociable kid, so having people willing to talk to me and engage with me and laugh with me and joke with me and befriend me, that was more powerful than the nicotine that was flowing through my veins. I smoked for nearly 20 years. You got to ask those questions about every fucking thing you have, everything you are, everything you do. And not just about yourself, but you need to start observing the people around you. And you need to, with that love affair that you having with reality, see how y'all's behaviors all tie and match with the reality of matters. If your life is kind of kitty wampus, right? Little off kilter, you feel me? You need to make those changes that starts to bring it into true. To align yourself with truth and reality as close as possible. But once you've done that, anybody, and I do mean anybody, that tries to sway you from that clear path that you've observed, that you know for a fact represents the reality of things, you got no time for that. You ain't got no time for that shit. If you being nice about it, they might get one warning. One. If you being nice. But if you being real, You be like, you know what? Fuck that and fuck you. Good day. Kick rocks. I'm over you. No. We don't need no debates, right? This is not a discussion. My life is not a fucking democracy. It's a dictatorship, and I'm the boss of this bitch. And I say, you're done. Because you don't get the time back you waste fucking with people that only want to see you stay right where you are. Who are trapped in the same orbit, the same gravity, the same inertia as you. Only they didn't do the hard work. They didn't do the heavy lifting. They don't get to ride on your coattails. I don't give a fuck who they are. If they not willing to do what you've done to get what you get and to be who you be, fuck them. Can't save everybody. You can lead people to water, but you can't make the motherfuckers drink it. Family, I'm not going to keep this going on for too much longer because it is the new year and I know you motherfuckers is ready to go kick it. I'm certain that all of yous on the west or on the east coast, like it's like almost 5 o'clock there, y'all already preparing, getting dressed, got your food on the stove if you do the whole black eyed peas thing and all of that, right? I know you motherfuckers is getting ready for the new year, right? I want to give a shout out to my brother Manasseh. I'm going to go right back through the chat. No particular order, just how everybody popped in it. But Manasseh, thank you for the support and the love. Sister Jazz, as always. Sister Sharp, my brother King. Torian popped in. Thank you for the love, brother. Always love it. Cats. Love you, Cats, sister, my esteemed sister. Oh, Lila, see? Lila said she's the master of cutting toxic people out. Took me getting robbed a couple of times. Happy New Year. And Lila, where the hell you been? I know you were listening and you didn't pop your ass in the chat. You know I should swat you for that. You got to let us know you here. Because I know you be here, but you be lurking. And it's okay, but at least let me know your ass is here. Happy New Year, Lila. Yeah, I'm telling you. You got to cut these motherfuckers. Look. In 2019, shout out to my brother Black Onyx. Shout out to Sister Shar. And other people that I've heard using this. Because this is going to be my shit moving forward in 2019. Because this saying, this phrase relates to so many people in so many situations. In 2019, family, you either get right or get left. Get right or get left. Because we done fucking with the dumb shit, the goofy shit, the stupid shit. We done with the basic ass, basic shit. Real black people, real niggas if you will, are on some building shit. We on some growth. We ain't on stuck on the same old fuck shit that we've been living on for how many n number of years we've been doing it. And to fuck with us, to ride with us, you're going to have to get right or you're going to have to get left. Because we putting in the work. We're not just sitting here partying tonight. We will be introspecting and planning. Get right or get left should be your motto in 2019 too. On every level. You in a fucked up ass relationship with a bitch who won't treat you with no respect because you got a dick and 2 balls and she's a woman. She can either get right or get left. You got somebody in your life that been using you up ever since you've been knowing them since high school. Your so-called best friend who's been treating you like garbage, but you've been so lonely and needed their companionship that you couldn't let them go. Nope. They need to get right or get left. Them people that keep telling you over and over again, nigga, you always on some dreamer shit. You ain't gonna never accomplish that. I don't even know why you sitting there continuing to make these bullshit ass plans and shit. Them niggas got to go. Everybody who tries to tell you what you are and who you are after you've done the heavy lifting, after you've done the mental legwork to become more yourself. Bye, Felicia. They gotta kick rocks. Manasseh, I gotta get that. I gotta get that shirt. Get right and get left. It's as simple as that. In 2019, in everything you do and with everybody you do it with, it is simple as that. People either need to get right or get left. But your ass is moving forward, onward, and upward. We ain't got time for okie doke. We ain't got time for drama. I'm not here to bring drama to you. Lila, you have a great, great New Year, sister. Love to you. Peace to you. You be safe. Yeah. So, family, okay, if you stuck with me all the way to the end of this broadcast, it's finally time to address what y'all think I've been putting off. Because I've made some intimations about addressing certain things, but doing it somewhere else in a different fashion, right? And I told you that this topic, embrace the horror, was super, super important for me. It was personal. I gave you these jewels today, but this was personal. And I'm going to explain to you why. This is just us having a conversation. Although my whole broadcast is always just us having a conversation. But this is me. No affectations. Not that I do affectations. But whatever. Fuck the provisos and all that bullshit. I'm just going to talk. All right? Dig. When I first came on this medium, on YouTube, right, back in 2015, December of 2015, I only had one goal. And those of you who have followed me for quite some time know what that goal is. As a matter of fact, y'all could probably say it word for word at this point. My goal was to provide actual, practical, and factual information for both me and for you to be able to combat and defeat whiteism and acolytes of whiteism. That means the people that are the supporters of this edifice known as whiteism. That has been my off-stated goal, right? And I think that I've done a pretty good job with that. But remember what I said about embracing the horror, embracing the reality of circumstances and situations? My biggest fear, right, the assistance of whiteism, Jazz, I love it. My biggest fear when I came onto YouTube in December 2015 was that no one would listen. I'm not certain how common that fear is among YouTubers. Because if you go back and you listen to like my first videos, they were all scripted. Trust me, I couldn't freestyle for shit. Like where I'm at now it's been a process of 3 years now of growth, of being able to feel comfortable talking in front of a camera, being able to manipulate different technology and software and things like that to try to bring the people a better experience and all of that. This is what you see here is 3 years of trial and error, of saying, fuck it, I don't want to do this no more, and then waking up the next day and doing it again, and so on and so forth, right? But embracing the horror, my biggest fear was that I would talk and no one would listen. And I actually need to clarify that a bit. It wasn't that I was afraid that no one would listen. I was afraid that no one would listen and care. What the fuck is the difference, right? If they listen, obviously they care. No. Y'all have heard shit going in one ear and out the other one, right? People will listen to you. You can get views and subscriber numbers and all that other shit, but that doesn't mean that they're actually listening to you and that they care about what it is that you're saying. For me, care has always been instrumental in the give and take that is Mark Black and my brothers and sisters out there in YouTube land. That has been supremely important to me, which is why no matter how big I've grown, and you can ask the people that follow me like Sister Lila, Sister Jazz, Miss Denny, and so on and so forth, if you're not regular, because Manasseh's not regular, right? But I always pause and try and read everybody's comments when they pop in the chat. Even though I make sure the chat is available on the screen for you to see in the video, I want them to know I acknowledge them. Because for me, it wasn't just about the information. As strange as that might sound to some of my long-term subscribers, the information is what I've always, it's been key. But the care, the relationship built across the internet lines was just as important to me. Just as important to me as the dissemination and the reception of any information I could bring to my people here on YouTube. And fortunately I had the opportunity to experience my greatest horror here on YouTube. My greatest horror. My biggest fucking fear come to life. I was on a broadcast, a live hangout with the brother, New Possibilities. It was a way long time ago. I mean, a long fucking time ago. I would say it was like, Jazz, like early 2016. Like, so I would say like spring, maybe early summer 2016. At any rate, I'm on a broadcast with them. And like I said, family, I've been consistent in my expressions of love, of fighting, advocacy, raging, sometimes for my people. And I was starting to get people that would listen. I didn't learn how much they cared until what happened next happened. But we were talking about different shit in this hangout. It was one of those, just kind of general topics where everybody just kind of stream of consciousness off of each other's shit, building. I love it, right? And so, damn it, Miss Denny, don't call me. You see I'm doing a broadcast. But at any rate, nobody prompted me to say it, right? Because first of all, I'm not ashamed of it or whatever the case may be. But I told the hangout that I'm married to a pale woman. And from that moment on, everything changed for me here on YouTube. Everything. Family, I'm serious. I can't make it up. I can't make this shit up. Everything changed. People that just the day before were on their channels doing videos and mentioning my name in support, who were saying, this brother is on message, right? He knows what he's talking about. Go over to his channel. Show him some love. Lift him up. Show him some support. People who the day before were doing that completely cut me out. Cut me out. Yes, Jazz, I was honest. See, because honesty... Or actually, no, let me take that back, Jazz. I wasn't honest. I was truthful. Because that is the truth of my life. I was truthful. And truthfulness is something that is sorely lacking. It's in short ass supply in the black sector of YouTube. Trust me when I tell you, I have been privy to shit that you guys would not fucking believe goes on. Back channel interactions between YouTubers that you would swear up and down were beefing with each other, that had drama with each other, who really are the best of friends and are simply portraying having beef with each other to drive up views. No bullshit. I've seen it. I've been a part of hangouts in back channels where people who claim to be the most super hardcore pro-black motherfuckers that you could ever find, that they blood is black, right? They don't bleed red, they bleed black. You see what I'm saying? Those so-called pro-hardcore, pro-black motherfuckers in these back chats got nothing but contempt for you. They talk about you like you got two fucking heads and both of them ugly. That's right. That's right. I've been a part of broadcasts where pretty much everybody that you could think of that you know and love. Jazz said, but do you not also understand why they reacted that way? Just like I understand I may not be received well by some because I'm West African. Yep, I actually understand it, Jazz. It took me a while. And don't worry, I'm going to get to it. It took me a minute to understand. But I got it. I'm doing Mark Black right now. Let me tell my story, Nickel. But I have been essentially in a good portion of the black sector of YouTube and Outcast for about the last 2 years or so. Even when I do truthful information, right? Give solid information. I've got videos on this channel where I actually have done research, right? There was a video I did where I discussed the mistrial in the Michael Slager trial, you know, that pig that murdered Walter Scott. And I discussed the voir dire process and how the prosecution used the voir dire process to ensure a mistrial, because they didn't want to try him in the first place. Me, I'm a trained paralegal. I understand the criminal justice process all the way from detainment to confinement. And I used my legal knowledge and research of how this fucking system works to be able to give a clear, concise explanation as to how that pig was nearly able to walk for the murder of our brother. I've got videos. Thank you, Jazz. I love that video too. That to me is one of my best videos. I've got a video on this channel, family. You know how when there's an incident someplace in the world, like there's a terrorist attack or some sort of mass killing, or there's been some sort of natural disaster, people across social media will change their avatars to reflect the nation's affected flag, and they'll say shit like Je suis Paris and so on and so forth, right? And they will identify with the victims. I did a video that breaks down psychologically why the aspects of our enslavement here as descendants of Americans, slaves, right? As the American descendants of slaves, the sum total of our experiences here cause us to experience and express collective pain differently than everybody else. Whereas it brings other people together, it causes us to atomize from each other. When we experience a collective trauma, like the murder of one of our brothers and sisters in the street, rather than it driving us together as a collective, right? Rather than us uniting together, it blows us apart. And there's a specific reason why this occurs. I did months of psychological research and reading studies on this shit to publish that video. To this day, it's one of my best works ever done. And it's hardly got any views. Yes, Jazz, most people don't know about the voir dire process. Jazz, do you remember the video that I did where I discussed martial law and how martial law operates? Because, you know, we was on these, you remember, we was on these different hangouts, these different broadcasts where people talk about niggas is about to be under martial law. Y'all better be prepared. Niggas is about to be under martial law, right? And you remember that broadcast? I stopped watching a hangout to go do this live broadcast to discuss exactly what martial law is and how it affects black people and so on. Family, I've got content on this channel that you would not fucking believe. I'm not kidding you. I've touched on every topic you could possibly imagine. I even addressed the fact that while I might be married to a pale woman, that does not entitle me to anything except in the short-term suspicion. Because how many people we've seen coon out, right, that have flipped the script, you know, that they significant other get them to start soft shoeing and buck dancing, right? You can't have no full-throated advocacy for your people no more because you don't want to upset the missus. Right? I did a video even addressing that shit. There's a video on my channel talking about people who have dated or are married to or in relationships that are interracial. I don't advocate for swirling. I'm not a swirler. I didn't marry my wife because I love white bitches so much. She's a nice woman and she takes good care of me. And she was there. Like, what the fuck is the problem? You see what I'm saying? Right? Michael, welcome to the broadcast. Much love to you too, brother. Happy early New Year. Right? See, the thing is, family, is that I have had the opportunity to experience my worst fear come to life. Entire videos of research that goes unviewed. On my channel, the most popular video I've ever done was discussing the interview between Tomi Lahren and Trevor Noah. It's at 34,000 views. The second most popular video on my channel was when I basically roasted Michael Jordan's ass for that bullshit op-ed letter that he wrote giving $1 million to the pigs and $1 million to... You see what I'm saying? Those are my two most popular videos. I have videos on my channel discussing military shit. You know, how to maneuver through the community like a military force. I've got videos on my channel discussing group economics. Talking about rotating credit groups like tontas if you're Latino, right? Or tontinas if you're French speaking. I have videos on my channel talking about not one, not two, not three, not four, but 5 different methods that a group of black people can get together and actually acquire a land base for themselves. Mark Black is not just a pretty face. But because of my marriage to a Becky, outcast, pariah. You had people that I know were coming and watching my live broadcast, but wouldn't post in the chat for fear that because I put the chat up on the screen that their name would appear up there and it would be known that they actually watched and supported me. Real talk. Real talk. Now, I've got some truths. I will not lie to you, family. I am fortunate as fuck. So when all this shit happened, I found out who my truths were. A lot of them are in the chat right now. Sister Jazz, Sister Lila, one of my truths. Miss Denny jumped on board a little while later. She was one of my truths. You know what I'm saying? My brother King, been one of my truths since day one, right? I know who the real ones that ride with me are. And let's face facts. Even though these people ain't inviting me to speak on their hangouts no more, or even worse, catching me speaking on other people's hangouts and then come and troll me in other people's shit. Because that's one of the best tactics. You're going to love this one, family. So let's say that I'm on, like, Angry Man's broadcast or something like that. Like, I'm just throwing it out there because I love Angry Man and, you know, whatever. But let's say I'm on a panel with Angry Man and the Black Order and the Gray Regime. Okay, cool. Right? So we all chopping it up. Now, we may be talking about black people. And we may be talking about specifically black women. Last time I checked, I came from a black womb, grew up in a household full of black women. My first wife was black. Most of the women I've ever dated, been with, had long-term relationships with were black. So I think I'm qualified to speak about my experiences interacting with the sisters. Meanwhile, I got somebody in the motherfucking chat saying, why y'all letting him talk? He married to a white bitch. I'm not gonna let him disrespect my sisters. Like, they ain't my sisters too. Like, somehow or another, I lost my blackness. I've had my blackness revoked. Now, funnily enough, when the pale people interact with me and deal with me and see me, they still treat me like I'm black. So I'm an outcast still for the pale people. I will never ride with them motherfuckers. I got too much work on here on YouTube for anybody to ever say that I will ever ride with black folk. I mean, with white folk. Y'all know this, okay? Way too much. And unlike a lot of these motherfuckers who were talking shit about me and throwing shade at me, y'all see Mark Black's face. This is my living room. This ain't no pimped out ass studio. I got my man T in the background right here, my turtle. You see me. Motherfuckers with nothing but funny red, black, and green avatars and shit talking shit about me. They don't know nothing about me. And they had the power, or so they thought, to consign me to the outer darkness, to becoming a black YouTube pariah, a throwaway, an outcast. I said it. But Jazz, I told you that I figured it out. There's 3 reasons. 3. And I'll name them. I can understand why they did it. Because reason number one is that, yes, I am not them. I'm not them. So let me explain this. 3 years, it took me almost 3 years, but it took me a while to figure out that part of the reason why I was a pariah to these individuals was because I was supposed to be. I don't fit with them. You see, I am pro-black, unapologetically pro-black. But I do my blackness different than they do. Right? For example, I don't buy into a bunch of conspiracy theory bullshit. I actually think that there are solid, legitimate reasons that you can figure the fuck out for why things happen to black people. Not it's the Anunnaki from planet Nibiru who are all trying to eat our pineal glands and stop us from seeing the truth of shit. What the fuck? Like, I can't ride with that shit. I'm sorry. I call me crazy, but I have a brain and I have this strange tendency to use it. So I'm not into no flat earth bullshit. I'm not into no motherfucking angels and devils shit. I'm not into, I just can't do the conspiracy theory shit. I don't believe that Kodak Black got cloned. Whatever the fuck that means. Like, this shit is idiotic to me. I don't give a damn about how much meditation you do to decalcify your pineal gland. I'm sorry. This shit is look, I don't give a fuck if you've been able to interpret the meta-nature or not. Manasseh, peace, and thank you again for your support, brother. Be safe. If I don't see you again, Happy New Year to you and salute to you too, my dear esteemed brother. Yeah, family, I'm sorry. Jazz, so reason number one that I was a pariah to them was because I should have been. I don't match that fuckery. A lot of stuff that passes for so-called conscious black YouTube, just to be quite frank, is drivel. Family, it's just drivel. Look, there is no fucking planet Nibiru. I don't give a fuck how many times you read the motherfucking Epic of Gilgamesh. There ain't no Anunnakis and shit. No, I don't believe the Queen of England and all of the leaders of the planet are all reptilians. No, I don't necessarily believe that waiting to herd all the niggas up into FEMA camps. It wouldn't even be that hard if they wanted to do it any motherfucking way. I'm sorry, but look, if you can tell, I'll be 46 years old in January, okay? So trust me when I tell you this. I have explored the lusciousness that is Mark Black. Pause. Right? I pay attention to my body. And I have felt and expressed and known about many things about myself, including quite a few things I wish I didn't know about myself. I haven't once in my 46 years ever felt my pineal gland. I wouldn't have the first motherfucking clue as to whether or not it was calcified or not. And yet y'all got whole channels dedicated to decalcifying your pineal gland. I'm sorry, family, but I actually think science isn't just for white people. It's for black people too. So if I quote a scientific article or a study, I actually think that has validity. I don't think of it as, that's the white man's science. Niggas always believe in the white man's ISIS coder. What science are you motherfuckers producing? The science of meditation? Of yoginis and chakras and kundalinis and shit? Talking about black seed oil? Okay, maybe it works, maybe it don't. How about you do a double-blind study and come back and let us know? Oh, no, wait. That's white people shit. That's like reason and logic. Can't have that. So, Jazz, the first reason is that the reason why I'm a pariah is because I should have been. I don't fit in with that fucking crowd. I don't be God this and God's that and religion this and spirituality that every fucking turn either. Family, I have made my level best effort to try to fit in with this crowd too. I thought maybe if I re-embraced spirituality, because I've been an atheist since, oh fuck me, like 2002. I had no fucking belief in any type of deity whatsoever. No evidence. Nobody's convinced me of shit. But I was thinking, maybe there was something I was missing, right? So I started to go back and study my old religion, which was Islam. I was a Muslim, a Shia. Again, don't fucking fit no matter where I go. I couldn't just be a Sunni, right? No, when I was Muslim, I had to be a Shiite. So, yeah, Jazz, you know what? You're making me blush, but you're right. Jazz, looking back at it, I have never fit in, ever. Ever. I'm talking about ever since I was like a little boy. I used to get bad marks in school for social skills. Not because I was mean to other kids or anything like that. I'm a sweetheart. I'm gentle as they come. Like, seriously, kids love my ass. Old folks love my ass. I get along with people because I'm kind to them. All right? I've always been that way. That's why I love my little son. My bug man is the same way as his old man. He's just so lovey. I call him Bug because it's short for Lovey Bug. Okay, no, fuck the digressions. At any rate, I never fit in. I would get bad marks because I wasn't sociable. Every time I tried to interact with the other kids, they would say things like I was weird or that I was crazy. I mean, I don't know if any of yous can imagine this, but try going through most of your life and never really having a place where you fit in any motherfucking where. So, Jazz,
The first reason I'm a pariah is because I should be. I don't fit in with them. And the second reason is that I never was meant to fit in with that crowd. They're not my audience. It took me too long to learn that. It took me too long to learn that the conspiracy mongering, faithful, crazy people are not my audience. That's not to say that their black lives don't matter to me. Nothing about what I said discounts how I feel about any of those black people. If they ever needed my help, my defense, even if it means I died for them, so be it. Their black lives, even though my black life don't mean shit to them, that does not mean that their black life does not mean anything to me. Because I cannot control them, but I can control me. See, I can be consistent even when they don't want me to be. They want me to flash in the pan. They want me to say, you know what, fuck all this black YouTube shit. I'm just going to go over here and suckle at the teat of my white bitch and live my best life with my white wife. That's what they want me to do. And I told them, no, you're not going to shut me up. You're not going to run me the fuck off. I'm still going to speak for my people. I'm still going to be a voice. I'm still going to be a face. Oh my God. Only I'm doing it a little bit different than you. That's right. Family. Oh yeah. Jazz, look, Mark Black is the same everywhere I go. You see that little red, black, and green flag with that exclamation mark and that that's me. You don't even have to see the Mark Black in the middle. You see that symbol, you know it's me. Because I've used the same fucking account, the same avatar, in the same places for all 3 years I've been on YouTube. Jazz, I told you that there were 3 reasons. 3 reasons that I understood, and there were 3 reasons why. The third reason is that I taught them how to treat me. Remember, I always say that. You teach people how to treat you. In the beginning, because of the acceptance that I received from these people, I didn't do my due diligence. I wasn't aware of a lot of scammy ass behavior, a lot of backstabby ass behavior, a lot of haterism, pocket watching, right? My channel's starting to grow and people are like, oh, we got to shut that nigga up some sort of way because he can't get, past me, right? I've watched people who I was instrumental in helping to bring onto YouTube go on to have way more subscribers than me and then shit on me on the way talking about I'm married to a white bitch, so discount me, right? Motherfuckers like the True Royal family, who is true royal scum. All right? I used to never name names, family. Any of you who rode with me back in the day knew that I had a rule. Even if I had an issue with a black person and I mentioned the issue, I would never mention their name. If they had a name, even if it was just an avatar and a name on YouTube, I never mentioned them. Never once. Meanwhile, what happened to me? People were coming on my channel fucking trolling the fuck out me, doing videos claiming to expose me. I was on a live hangout and we were discussing, mistakes, bad things that we've done in our lives as black people. I have expressed in multiple occasions that because of my abusive upbringing, I initially started off my manhood as a batterer. I hit women. I have never expressed any pride in that. I have never said anything about it except that I no longer do it. I have not done it in years. And I'm ashamed. I feel guilty as fuck for the fact that I've done it. But I also made amends to the women that I did hurt. Do you know that somebody tried to get on their fucking channel and do a video looping back talking about does Mark Black beat black women? And played back the loop in the broad. See, I told the truth about myself. Nobody fucking exposed me, yet they tried to play it as if they were fucking exposing me. That's the type of inane bullshit that occurs in this black sector of YouTube. That is the type of inane bullshit. Right? This petty high school ass bullshit. I was floored. I said, because again, family, I'm handicapped in my interactions with a lot of the so-called pro-black sector of YouTube because I have a problem that I've not been able to cure, okay? I haven't much talked about this problem, but I'm going to go ahead and mention it today because I think it's appropriate. This issue that I have, this problem that I suffer from, is that I have a deep-seated need for shit to make sense. I know. Like, when you're interacting on social media, right, the last thing you should expect is for shit to make sense. But yet, I still have that illness. I still have that disease. I don't think there's a cure for it. I've been looking. I've been trying to be as irrational and as just mentally fucked up as I possibly can be. It just isn't working. I'm still saddled with the burden of the need for shit to make sense. So that handicaps me. Lila, we all have done shameful shit. But here's the thing, Lila. Lila, if you don't mind, I know a little bit about you. I would like to use you as an example, but I do not want to put out any information that you may not want put out there. Now, with that said, it's going to be related to your heritage. With that said, do I have your permission to speak about you? See, family, that's called respect. I has it. Would it be okay, Sister Lila, if I was to be able to use that to illustrate a point that I'm trying to make? You let me know, and I'll continue on until you say yay or nay. All right? But Jazz is right. Social media shows you just how mentally... You know what? Actually, Jazz, I don't even think it's necessarily so much mentally ill. I think social media makes you more of what you already are. Right? If you are already a narcissistic asshole, you get to be more of a narcissistic asshole in the motherfucking anonymity of the interwebs, right? If you already a conspiracy nut, shit, the internet tubes got so much conspiracy on it, you could literally look. There's the conspiracy that we didn't land on fucking the moon, right? Even though we brought back rocks and shit, right? There's the conspiracy that the Earth is flat. And all those motherfucking videos are showing the Earth from space are just made up and NASA conspiracies and shit. I mean, look, you can't run the fuck out of conspiracies on the internet, right? So, but yes, thank you, Lila. My sister Lila is biracial. And that's the only thing I'm going to say about you, Lila. That's it. That was the only thing I wanted to mention. Now, does that make her any less my sister? Not at all. Lila identifies with her blackness. Right? She knows what it's like to be a black woman, to experience the things that she experienced simply because she is the bearer of blackness. Right? But you have entire YouTube channels who have spent every fucking moment they've been broadcasted making sure that Lila knows she can't be on the team. That she's not a part of the people. There ain't nothing black about her. Am I lying, Lila? Am I lying? Jazz is one of the most solid allies that any black person could ever have. She not only understands the fuckery that we experience as the descendants of slaves in this country, but she also understands how it comes from the immigrant side of the house, how some of the fuckery comes from the immigrant side of the house. And she has been a stalwart supporter of all things Black American. All things. Jazz, don't think I didn't see you over there fucking with Sister Yvette Carnell one time too. I'm just saying, I got eyes. Right? You one of the allies she talks about. See, because family, unlike a lot of these other pro-black motherfuckers that you think you fuck with, sisters like Jazz, sisters like Yvette Carnell Brothers like me understand that for all the struggle that black people can make, we are still at some point going to require allies for the final push. That doesn't mean that we got to kiss their ass. That doesn't mean that we got to chase them down. It doesn't mean that we have to adopt any of their other ideas. But where our interests align, a sane, rational person at least looks at the option of interaction, even with people who are enemies. I'll give you a case in fucking point. Phil from the Advice Show got an email or some sort of contact from a group of white separatists who asked him, hey, it appears that you want your people to be separated from us, and we want our people to be separated from you. We are willing to work with you to advocate for you to get your own land base and your own shit so that you can be the fuck away from us and have your own. You know what this idiot did? See, this is the type of stuff I be getting from these white supremacists all the time. But you know I don't ride with no white supremacy. And I'm thinking to myself, what a fucking moron. They reached out to you as a black voice saying, hey, black man, this is where our interests might align. You want your own shit so you don't have to be stuck in our face 24/7? This is what we want too. We have an interest alignment. Perhaps we can have a discussion. They didn't say they had any plans with Phil. They weren't trying to put the man on blast or anything like that. They just simply said, you have a voice. Let's see if we can talk to see where our interests align. And this motherfucker used it to show his cred of how pro-black he was because he don't interact with no white supremacists. The fuck? See, again, I'm handicapped because I have a need for shit to be rational, for shit to make sense. This motherfucker actually has white supremacists, white separatists contacting him, attempting to initiate dialogue to determine where our interests align. And he's so fucking short-sighted and simple-minded that the only thing he could think to do with that correspondence is put it up as trying to establish more of his pro-black bona fides and stuff. I fucking can't. So, family, Jazz, he was definitely... I sat there watching the video. I don't even know if it's still in his archives, but you gotta see that video. It was classic fucking Phil. It was Lila, it gets so deep it hurts, but you get it, and you cool with it. Trust is something you have to prove. It is what it is. Lila, I'm here to tell you today, sister, bullshit. You don't have to prove nothing to the motherfuckers. I, your brother, who loves you, Mark Black, am here to tell you, no more. No more do you have to prove anything to them. Nope. You don't want their trust. You don't want their accolades. You don't want their support. They are not your audience. You see, your audience, Sister Lila, my audience, Sister Jazz, you well know, is black people who are different across the board. And the only thing that we seem to have in common is this deep and unabiding love for each other's blackness. We put our blackness above every fucking thing else that we have going on in our life. I have a brother that I've collaborated with, Sean Scott, that was on my channel. He's same gender loving brother. Gay, if you will. He don't like that term, so I don't like to use it with him, right? But that's my brother. You know why? Because Sean puts his blackness before his gayness. Lila, I have fucked with you now for almost 3 years, and you come on to my channel with nothing but respect, solid information, care, and concern about black people. We put our blackness before everything else. Jazz, you are my West African sister and my ally, and you make sure that in our interactions, you show me respect respect. You show care and concern for my feelings. And most importantly, you put your blackness before any of your tribal affiliations back in the state, back in the homeland in Africa where you descend, where your people descend from. If you notice a common fucking thread, these bastards work overtime to be as exclusive as possible. I've said it. I believe these so-called pro-black ass motherfuckers here on the pro-black side of YouTube won't be happy until there are no more pro-black broadcasters. They're the only ones left, and they're gonna be sitting there preaching at you about how dumb you niggas are and how you just not understanding, and they're the chosen one with the pineal gland that's clear as a bell, and y'all just don't get it. I really believe that. Jazz said, my thing is, when I get those type of responses, I don't hate them for it. I understand the source of all the confusion. Whiteism, racism, white supremacy. Nope. Nope, 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 nope. Jazz, you are the dopest because you take the high road. I ain't fucking taking the high road no more with these people. It's not that they are confused, that they don't understand how they're responding to you. They know exactly what they're saying and what they're doing when they try to silence you, Jazz. When they try to tell you you don't have a fucking place to speak because you're not us, right? They know exactly what they're doing. Jazz, look at the parallels. Look at the similarities, the shades of whiteism that these bastards express. Most of the motherfuckers that I've been interacting with on the black side of YouTube for the last 3 years are nothing more than black-skinned white supremacists. They use the same fucking talking points, the same deflection tactics, the same irrationality, the same bullshit, weak-ass, fake-ass, punk-ass logic that's easily debunked. Jazz, you don't owe them shit. They know exactly what they're saying when they try to talk crazy to you. But Jazz, they've learned from the best, which means that they've been co-opted. And what is it they always tell us? What is it they tell us, right? When they tell me, when they talk about Mark Black, what is it they say about me? They say that my being married to my wife makes me a liability. That I've been co-opted, that I'm so weak-minded that the first moment she goes, well, I don't like that I'm going to change the whole game up, that I can't have principles, that I can't have a thought process, I can't have logic, I can't have reason and experiences that brought me to the full-throated, unabashed advocacy for my people that I've expressed for 3 fucking years. No, because she's touched me and I've touched her. We swap slobbers. I'm forever corrupted. That's what they say about me. Facts, right? Facts. So why can't I indict them for the same fucking shit? They use the exact same fucking talking points. The same irrationality. The same lack of basic thinking, critical thinking. And that is supposed to be my audience? Hell no. Look, family, it has taken me 3 years and the help of a lot of good folk. Jazz, you know you're one of them. Sister Lila, avid supporter. But also people like my brother Angry Man. I want to give a shout out to Angry Man. Because he taught me that it's okay to be passionate some about what it is that you facing and what you're going through. That brother's so fucking real, it hurts. And not to say that I was ever fake, but I'm not normally as emotive or as warm. And I really wanted to change that. He gave me the motherfucking inspiration to change that. People try to tell me I shouldn't curse in my broadcast. I've been cursing ever since I started doing live broadcasts. I speak to adult black people. There's no children here. And hell, even if children was here, I curse in front of my children. You don't want your children listening? When Mark Black is talking, maybe they should leave the room. I understand. But this is for adult people. But Jazz, we don't owe them no more explanations. We don't owe them any more opportunities to try to fit in with them, right? Lila, you don't have to worry about making them your audience. You already have an audience of other black people who have never fit in with those motherfuckers in the so-called black sector of YouTube. Some of them think different politically than you might. They might be black Republicans, or they might be anarchists who think that we should have no government at all. But I bet you that if you talk to them about issues that affect black people, they'd ride with you. There are people out here who are descended from Africans and other American descendant of slave groups, right? Like jazz. But when you talk about black issues, especially how they affect the descendants of slaves, but black issues in general, they fucks with you. They were never going to be the audience of these so-called hardcore pro-black motherfuckers anyway. Right? There are black geeks and nerds out here who love their gaming and their anime and manga and shit. Who play Dungeons and Dragons and chess and Go and some other shit. Who geek out over the latest consoles and this, that, and the third. But if you talk about things that affect black people as a whole, they will ride with you. There are black people out here who have mates of the same gender or used to be one gender and have been sexually, surgically reassigned to another gender. Who are told that they are an abomination. Who are told that they are instrumental in the downfall of the black nation, the black collective everywhere. That are good folk. That if you talk about things that affect black people as a whole, will ride with you. Why am I saying all this? I'm saying all this because I am soon going to say goodbye to Mark Black's channel here. And I've threatened it before. I surely have. But this time it's not a threat. And I'm not stopping this channel because they ran me the fuck off. Not at all. I'm not quitting YouTube. Yes, Jazz, I am this close to having everything built. And don't worry, Jazz, get at me, okay? I'll tell you everything. But I have an entirely new channel with an entirely new format, entirely new rules. I'm going to have merchandise available for us to dress up like each other and drink and talk like each other. I'm not going to have no ads on my shit, and I'm not going to have no censorship on my shit. On this new channel, it is all about us motherfucking misfits. It is all about us outcasts, us pariahs, us nonconformists, us the throwaways, the misfit toys of white supremacy. I don't have a single video up yet, but there's the link to the channel. Go ahead and please go over there and subscribe. Don't worry, I'll also put the link in the description field of this video, and I'm going to leave this video up. I'm not going to do what I've been doing and taking them down after 2 days. This video stays up. Over there, in Black Outcast Media, we're going to talk about real fucking questions. We're going to ask real questions. And we're not going to be concerned about who the fuck we pissing off. And the only unifying principle that I'm demanding over there is that you just put blackness before anything else. If you can get behind the fact that black folk are under attack. And Jazz, thank you so much for being my first subscriber. I knew I could count on you. We can do what these so-called pro-black motherfuckers have been claiming to want to do, but never seem to get around to doing. And that is, we can actually start to unify some black people. We could actually start getting together black people of all different stripes. Because guess what? I think it would be interesting to find out what I might have in common with a transgendered black woman or a black male. I don't know enough of them. Part of the reason why I may be leery of them or afraid of them is because I simply don't know enough about them. Wouldn't it be nice to have an area where we could talk together without me having to judge how they do blackness and them judge how I do blackness? Where my biracial brothers and sisters who identify with their blackness can come and breathe a fucking breath of fresh air without being told they ain't black enough. Where we don't play that colorism bullshit, team light skin, team dark skin. I guarantee you won't hear a single mention on my channel about a pineal gland. No, we'll just have a lot of fun and talk about real shit. About shit that ties us to this earth, that affects us today. And we'll do it and try to include as many motherfucking black people as we possibly can in on it. When the pro-black people finally get tired of their bullshit-ass rhetoric and the deflection tactics and all the other shit that they picked up from the fucking white pale supremacists, they can come join us too. We'll even let pale people come over there as long as the motherfuckers don't be trying to center themselves or talk shit or whatever, because you know me, I get real idgity around pale people, right? So any pale people that come over there, they better be on their fucking A game and they better walk softly. But I'm not even gonna discount talking to pale people over there. They can sub, they can support. Since I'm already an outcast, why not embrace and get opportunities for growth from everybody? This isn't me cooning out, by the way, family. I'm still going to be saying the same shit, the same message, the same way. Only this time, I have embraced my pariah status. You want to outcast me because I'm married to a Becky? Fine. I didn't want to be a part of you anyway. I don't like you for the most part. I don't believe in any of the shit that you think. I'm never going to ride with 90% of the drivel y'all speak. I respect your black life. And that's about the limit of it. If you need my help, my defense of you, I will protect you. Unlike what you would have done for me had the fucking tables been turned. Had I been a guy over in Greece getting killed by 10 white dudes beat to death in a bar, you would have fucking cheered my death too. If something bad happens to me, if I'm still alive afterwards, I can come on YouTube and be faced with a beautiful video talking about Swirler's Delight. And look at what happened to Mark Black's stupid swirling ass. And look at him. Now he's almost half dead. And he's fucked up. Yeah, that's what I got to look for. Man, fuck y'all. I created a home, a place where us black outcasts, us black misfits can go. Where we can just be black and do blackness together. Where we can talk about real topics. Where we can work with our real brothers and sisters and allies from other groups. I'm still going to be saying the same message the same way to the same people. I still am talking about defeating and combating whiteism today. Just like I always have been. Except the best part is I'm doing it without having to even be worried about you motherfuckers. I don't care anymore about what the so-called pro-black community thinks about me. I am pro-black because I actually give a fuck about black people. I don't use talking points to try to exclude as many of them as possible. I try to include as many as possible, unlike you. So in 2019, I'm done with you. My love affair with the so-called conscious black YouTube sector, the bloom is off the rose. And you don't have to tell me to leave, because I quit you. I'm fucking done. I'm not leaving YouTube. I'm just done with your ass. It is over. So, Jazz, now do you finally understand why I want to address certain topics elsewhere? Why I want to talk about these things elsewhere? They're not for them anymore. I'm no longer going to be concerned about casting my pearls before swine. I'm going to talk to the black people that I want to talk to about the topics I want to talk about. And I want those black people to talk back to me. Lila, I'm not quite certain what that meant there. Team Think Tank, Mark, and okay, I think Think Tank is I'm certain is a YouTuber or something like that, and I have watched some, but yeah, Think Tank. You know what? That's another thing. I am going to work to build a real black community here on YouTube, and I'm going to actually work to give them something tangible. I am going to offer merchandise, which I've already set up. As we grow, I'm going to offer opportunities to help them make some money, to help them work out some of the issues that they have in their lives. And I'm going to let them do the one thing that you so-called super hardcore pro-black motherfuckers will never do. I'm going to let them live blackness how they live it. I'm going to try to do something else that you won't do. I'm going to try to understand how they live blackness. I may not agree. I may not agree with them. Okay? But I will understand them. I will actually have empathy and care for their black lives. Unlike you so-called hardcore pro-black motherfuckers. Yes, Lila, we should have a think tank. By the way, Lila, you subscribed over there on the new channel, I assumed. Get at me. Because I will start doing collabos. And Jazz, you already know. I got you. Family, this isn't just going to be Mark Black. This thing has gotten so much bigger than Mark Black. What you idiots who tried to outcast me failed to understand that all you did was create a point where us outcasts could gather anyway. I'm just bringing it out into the open. That's all you did. You didn't drive me off of YouTube. You didn't drive Jazz away, Lila, and any of the other people that you've outcasted, that you've made into fucking YouTube pariahs. All you did was force us together. You just made us better and diminished your own damn selves. But you're supposed to be fonts of master wisdom. Oh, Jazz, trust me. You're going to get your opportunity to deconstruct whoever the fuck you want. Because there will be no censorship over there. Like I said, the only rule I got is you put blackness above everything else. However else you do blackness, I'm with it. I don't have to understand it all. I don't even have to like it all. But I do have to support and love it all. I'm going to actually stop talking about unity and work to actually build unity with black people of all stripes. Black Republicans are welcome. Black anarchists are welcome. Gay black people, straight black people, transgender black people. I'm not censoring no men, so if you're a woman and you get sensitive about men saying men shit, don't subscribe. I'm not censoring nobody's voice over there. This is going to be a safe place for all of the black outcasts, the pariahs, the misfits, the ones who just can't get a chance to speak in all of these so-called pro-black forums. This is our home on YouTube. My name's not even on the marquee anymore, so you know it ain't about me. I'm not going to be the only voice there. I'm not going to be the only one. There's going to be collaboration. We're going to finally build the unity that these bastards claim that we all should be wanting to build, but never get around to doing it. Are you ready for 2019? Are you ready? Get right or get left. Today, on this broadcast, while I wish you all the happiest of New Year's, I'm announcing that a whole bunch of motherfuckers is getting left. I ain't gonna name them by name. Don't have to. By my work, by my fruits, you shall know me. Watch what we do with the Black Outcast Media Broadcasting Outlet. Watch what we do. See how we soar. Keep pushing other black people away from you. You fucking holier than thou black gatekeepers. Keep sending them our way. We'll take all the refuse. We'll take all the ones you didn't think was black enough. We'll take all the ones that you think that you get to tell ain't on the team. We'll take them. We'll definitely take them. Send them all our way. Then that way y'all can sit there and just talk in y'all's bullshit ass pro-black echo chambers until y'all's fucking third eyes are as clear as bells. Meanwhile, we'll actually be doing some shit. We'll be actually building some shit. Working on some shit. Real talk. We're going to be doing projects. We're going to actually be collaborating with each other, building ideas, building projects, doing real world shit for our people who come first. Blackness over everything else. It's the only rule on this new channel, this new space. That's it. I don't care how else you do blackness. I don't care who you married to. I don't care who you fucking or not fucking. I don't care if you biggest Mac or an incel. Right? I don't care. I don't care what your religion is. I don't want to hear it. I'm certain other people don't want to fucking hear it. I don't care about your spirituality. What I care about is 3 words. Does it work? Does it work for you? Great. Next question. Does it work for us? No? Well, then we need to fix some shit. Or does it work for us? Great. Does it work for a lot of us? Great. Can it work for all of us? Great. That's where we're going in 2019. Does it work? Everything's getting based off of that. So I want to thank all of the alleged so-called aforementioned pro-black YouTubers. I want to thank you all for your great work in providing me with paroxysms of laughter at your bullshit conspiracies, at slack-jawed gazes of utter disdain and amazement at your philosophizing or whatever it is you think you believe this week. It's been real. It's been fun. But it hasn't been real fun. And with that, family, I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up. Everybody, be safe tonight. Don't be that idiot that we have to read about tomorrow, January 1st in the newspaper. Be safe. Have fun. Introspect. Plan for 2019. Big things are in the offing if only you put in the work, right? See the truth. Question your shit. Question the motherfuckers around you. Make sure to make the changes that you need to make to match reality. And if anybody tries to move you off that path, you let the motherfuckers have it with both barrels. And I promise you 2019 will be a year unlike you've never seen. So with that said, I'm finishing this one up the way I always do, which is love. I wish you peace, love, prosperity, and power. Real power to my people.